everyone, this is weather forecaster Liam. Thanks for tuning in for an extra hour and a half of bonus live storm coverage of Winter Storm Gage on TRA weather. Before I get to the future radar and the current current radar, let's take a look at the National Weather Service hazards map. See what's changed over the past 12 hours. You can see those winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings across Colorado and New Mexico have expired. So that's good news. We do still have some winter storm warnings across Nebraska, the Dakotas, and Minnesota. And what has definitely changed is in the far northeast, where we have winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, winter storm watches, and in that purple shaded area, that dark purple shaded area, under ice storm warning for some very high sleet and freezing rain accumulations. We were seeing that on the radar yesterday. So National Weather Service has issued an ice storm warning for portions of New York State, western Massachusetts, and very northwestern Connecticut. So I have to keep an eye on that. Also, winter storm warnings for New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and some winter storm watches for Maine and upstate New Hampshire. So let's take a look at the current radar right now. This is the radar site in Duluth. You can see some very heavy snow falling in northeastern and northern Minnesota right now. In fact, you can see all the reports of not just a lot of accumulating snow, but some pretty heavy snow as well. Let's take a look at a few of these reports. Here's one just north of Grand Rapids. Snowfall since last night, still snowing. 1/4 mile visibility and 30 degrees. So the visibility is incredibly low. If you have some pretty high wind of 30 miles an hour for over 3 hours, that would be blizzard conditions. And this was by a train spotter, 7 inches of snow on the ground. And a little north of the Duluth area, again, reports of about 6 to 8 inches of snow. Here's one report of 8 inches, heavy snow. All the icons shaded in purple are an indication of heavy snow, 8 inches. This is in the county of St. Louis, Minnesota, public source. And this was since yesterday morning, and it's still snowing as of this report, though it looks like it may have wind down a little, maybe just a few flurries out there. Another report of heavy snow, 6.6 inches, Co-op Observer, also in St. Louis County. Another Co-op Observer, this one's in Lake County, and this is 5 to 7 inches. 5 inches since 7 p.m. last evening. A few other reports up here in the northeast portion near Grand Marais, 7 inches of snow, heavy snow reported in Lake County, Minnesota. Have a few reports in Cook County, Minnesota, 3.5 inches to 4 by train spotters. And also, if I can get this up here, it's in between, we have a 36 mile per hour wind report. This was in Grand Marais Airport. That's where it was, also in Cook County, Minnesota. And this was by AWOS, in the AWOS station at Grand Marais Airport. So the airport detected that wind gust. So very gusty winds already starting in some of the areas in northern Minnesota. Let's take a look around other places. Let's take a look at Upper Michigan. We were seeing all that freezing rain last night, and not just freezing rain, snow, sleet, pretty much had every single precipitation type in Upper Michigan. And it looks like the temperatures have warmed up just a little bit. They were right around 32 degrees. Right now, they're right around 34 to 36. So that is good news that it has warmed up slightly. Though in the very northern and northeastern parts of Upper Michigan, still dealing with a few freezing temperatures, so some of that rain could still be freezing on contact. Though other than that, looking pretty good. Michigan, you're still very cold, though still dealing with just rain, some pretty heavy rain to the central and northwestern parts. But other than that, thankfully at this moment, just rain. How about northern Illinois? Right now, you're not dealing with anything, just dealing with some cloudy conditions. Let me see a few of these reports. Yep, just cloudy conditions and about 55 degrees. Some reports west of you in Iowa and western Illinois have mainly reports of about 1 inch of rain since yesterday, I do believe. Yes, rainfall total. That report was by Train Spotter. But you can see if there was precipitation in Iowa, it probably would be fallen as snow in portions of northwestern Iowa, though we don't have much precipitation at this time. Maybe a little flurries in northwestern Iowa, but that's about it. You have some snow also in much of the Dakotas. I'll get to that in just a moment. Going to look a little further south into Kansas and Nebraska. Dealing with a few snow flurries so far in eastern Nebraska. Though we go to central Nebraska, still dealing with that snow from yesterday when we had the scattered snow showers pretty much all day, and they just started getting heavier and heavier, and they weren't moving very much. And as you can see down here by these heavy snow reports, they have piled up quite a bit. Heavy snow reported between 7 and 8 inches, and this was via Facebook in Buffalo, Nebraska. This was also in Buffalo County, Nebraska. Source was public. Several public reports by social media estimating snowfall ranging from 7 to 10 inches. So they put it 8.5 for that total. Also, just west of that, another report of heavy snow, 7 inches, also by Facebook in Buffalo County, Nebraska. Go a little further south into Kansas, definitely cold enough for snow in this region in the upper to mid 20s. Some snow flurries in the northwestern portion of the state, but other than that, we go a little further south and not much showing up on the radar. In fact, nothing at all. And let's go to Colorado, where you are no longer under any winter weather alerts. Looks like we may be dealing with a few snow showers in the higher elevations in Colorado, but other than that, not really much else going on for you guys. Do have a few reports recently of some snowfall totals, 3.3 inches, right around 1 to 3 inches around the city. I have reported 3.3 inches, and that was done by a station. But a little higher elevations got some pretty good totals, 9 inches of snow, and this was a co-op observer station in GRTC2 Grant, 1 mile west. A few other reports south of there in the higher elevations. Snow will be higher, obviously, when you get into the mountainous regions. Wyoming, maybe a few snow flurries in the southeastern corner of the state. Other than that, not dealing with much at this moment. And this is Nebraska. Let's go to South Dakota, where we have still snowing. It looks about the same as yesterday. Haven't been dealing with incredibly heavy snow, though it looks like it's been picking up a little. Have a few reports near Hot Springs of between 5 and 8 inches. Let's take a look at that. This was in Fall River County, South Dakota. Co-op observer, storm total snowfall so far, and it's still snowing as of that report. Looks like it still is too. This was also in Fall River County, South Dakota. Co-op observer, that was the storm total snowfall so far, and it's still snowing. And we have an 11 inches of snowfall report in Meade County, South Dakota. This was by a train spotter, and the storm total snowfall so far, and it's still snowing, definitely still snowing in that area. Let's go a little further east in South Dakota, see what's going on. Snowing quite a bit. Probably snowing for most of the state. There might be a little break right around Gettysburg. Still flurrying, I do believe, though not as heavy. Go to southern Minnesota. Not dealing with too much right now. It's even if there was precipitation falling around the Minneapolis area, it would most likely be rain at this time. Unless you start getting further west of the area, then it looks like you can be dealing with some snow. Let's see if we have any reports of snow, and that's not freezing rain. Yes, there is snow falling, according to that report, moderate snow. And let's see if we get one more report, moderate snow. So right now, no freezing rain, all snow or just rain at this time for portions of western Minnesota, which is good news. We don't want to see any more freezing rain. And that's North Dakota. Let's go a little further west, see how far the snow has made it. Looks to be some light snow for much of central and western North Dakota. How about northern North Dakota? Still lacking in some of that snow, but it looks to be a few light snow showers working into your area. Though also, a lot of snow in eastern North Dakota. Been dealing with that all day. And now we're back to that heavy snow in northern Minnesota. That's why I started out in the Duluth radar site, because the heaviest snow is in northern Minnesota and eastern North Dakota at this time, with all these reports adding up in heavy snow. Though Duluth, it looks like you may be slowly transitioning over to a wintry mix into rain. You will get back to snow, though for now it looks like you're going to stick as rain. And also some good news to report. Right after, or I should say, right as I was ending the live stream last night, that tornado warning expired. And for the rest of the night, there was not one severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, and there still isn't any, so that's a very good news. Later on today, there's still a chance for a few isolated tornadoes and some severe thunderstorms, though thankfully since that one tornado last night, we have not had any more National Weather Service warnings, so that's very good news. Let's take a look at the future radar from the NAM 3KM model for the entire United States. In fact, let's go to the eastern half of the United States, so this is a little easier to see, so we get a better look at Winter Storm Gage. Let me do that so I can put it into motion for you all. Here we go. This is for 12 p.m. this afternoon Eastern time. You see, that's where Gage is in the center of low pressures in southern Minnesota, bringing some heavy snow to northern and western Minnesota, the Dakotas, and also Nebraska, maybe even getting into portions of Iowa and Kansas. And there's that line of storms, mainly right near the Ohio Valley, but further south in the portions of Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, western Tennessee, maybe even up to Kentucky. I don't think so, but it should be further south than that, is going to be dealing with possibility of some thunderstorms, especially later on in this afternoon. You'll see that as I go a few frames forward. Low pressure system has not really moved at all. In fact, it looks like it's strengthened a little, still bringing snow to those same regions. More rain for the Ohio Valley, but you see those line of thunderstorms in the southeast really starting to flare up more, especially in Alabama, Mississippi, and even western Tennessee. Before a little further on into the day, into the evening, right around 8 p.m. Eastern time, that line of storms does get very thin, though don't let that fool you. It's going to have some pretty gusty winds with it. That's the cold front itself. So it's going to have gusty winds, small hail, and a few tornadoes like we saw last night could be embedded within that line of severe thunderstorms. Just rain for the Ohio Valley, still snowing in those same regions, getting just a lot of snow in those north central regions of the United States, and also a lot of wind. We were seeing those wind reports earlier of 35 to 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts. So blizzard conditions are right around there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And now you're starting to see in the northeast all that pink shaded in New York State, western Massachusetts, Connecticut, and southern Vermont. That is freezing rain. That's why we have those ice storm warnings currently in effect for some of those regions for, as you can see on the scrolling text I got at the bottom, between a quarter of an inch to a half an inch, maybe even more than that. That is not good at all. Anything really between a tenth of an inch of ice could be really dangerous. When you're talking over a half an inch, that could be extremely dangerous. Let's go forward into tonight and into tomorrow, 1 a.m. tonight going into Monday. The line of storms is in central Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, Alabama, and working its way on into Georgia. The low pressure system is rather broad, but according to this model, the lowest pressure is right around Indiana. I wouldn't be surprised if that's around actually Illinois region. Though bringing still a lot of rain to the Ohio Valley, some possible severe thunderstorms to the southeast, still snowing in those same regions I listed earlier, maybe even getting to portions of Illinois and Missouri on the back end as that cold air wraps around. And that freezing rain continues in the northeast and some snow in the colder air a little further north into Vermont, Maine, and New Hampshire. Forward again to Monday morning, right around 9 a.m. Eastern time. The line of storms really weakens by this time. By Monday morning, the severe threat is pretty much gone. You're just dealing with a line of gusty winds and some moderate rain at best. And you can see all that wintry mix up there in the northeast. Again, that's why we have those ice storm warnings for the potential of some pretty good sleet and freezing rain accumulations. And look at that snow in upper Michigan and Wisconsin. Very heavy there. It's the center of low pressure sitting over northern Michigan right now at 982 millibars. According to the NAM model, this storm's actually going to get stronger. So that means the winds could get stronger as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Could see a few isolated blizzard conditions also in Wisconsin and upper Michigan, though may not be totally likely, still definitely possible. Go forward one more time to Monday afternoon into the evening. You see this low pressure is it even got stronger in the later on to the day into Monday, dealing with a lot of snow across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Upper Michigan, maybe even get into a few places in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and still dealing with some snow and freezing rain and sleet in the Northeast. So going to have a lot of icing problems up there for you guys, so keep an eye on that. Well, I'm going to keep this live stream up until 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time to give you the latest information on Winter Storm Gage. You're watching live coverage on TRA Weather of Winter Storm Gage. I'll be back with an update momentarily. Hey everyone, this is weather forecaster Liam back again with a quick update on Winter Storm Gage. Going to take a look at the current radar and a few reports around the area. Also, a few reports that have just come in from people like you, National Weather Service employees, and also emergency management. There's right before this live stream started, we had a wind report actually in the city of Duluth of 57 miles per hour, and it was 1 mile south by southeast of Duluth, within a mile of the city, St. Louis County, Minnesota, and it was by a buoy, and the buoy station DULM 5. That was the code for that buoy. And also a few other wind reports just west of Grand Rapids of 42 miles per hour. This was in Cass County, Minnesota. Also, weather station reported that. And in upper Michigan had a wind report of 48 miles per hour. This was by a trained spotter. So definitely have some very strong winds here. And we have our first blizzard report that I've seen from Winter Storm Gage. This is in the county of Lake County, just northeast of Silver Bay. There's a Storm Prediction Center report of blowing snow. There's also, I do believe, a report of a blizzard. So let's. There's also a few other reports. I'm going to take a look in this area because this is where the heaviest snow is currently falling. Go forward a few frames. We got some more snow reports, mainly between 6 and 10 inches. All heavy snow reports as well, which is indicated by the color, which is all purple. Heavy snow reported 6.6 inches in St. Louis County, Minnesota. Co-op Observer. We have one of 7 inches just north of Grand Rapids. Snowfall since last night, and it's still snowing. Quarter-mile less visibility and 30 degrees. Very close to blizzard conditions in that area. And also a report of 10 inches of snow, and it's also reported as heavy snow in Beltrament, Minnesota. The source is public. And that was the storm total snowfall from social media. So social media got us that report. Go forward a few things. Forward again. I have a snow report of 4.5 inches in central Minnesota. It was just normal snow, not heavy and not light. Crow, Wayne County, Minnesota, and the source was a Co-op Observer. I have another snow report of 9 inches. This was also a report of heavy snow. Again, very heavy snow going on in eastern North Dakota and northern Minnesota. 9 inches of snow, St. Louis County, Minnesota. This was by a trained spotter, and it's still snowing heavily as of the time of this report. And that takes us currently up to date. You can see some of the snow is working its way on out, the heavier stuff at least, out of Minnesota, but don't worry, there is still a long way to go. You're going to go all the way for the rest of today and into Monday, maybe even lingering on into very early Tuesday morning for some portions of Minnesota. So you're not nearly done yet. Let's take a look really quick at upper Michigan, see what's going on there. We were dealing with that freezing rain last night. In fact, a whole lot of freezing rain across upper Michigan and pretty much every precipitation type there is. Thankfully, temperatures have warmed up just slightly, so we're not dealing with much of that freezing rain anymore. Though we are dealing with some snow in very northern Michigan, upper Michigan. At least we have a report of 2 inches of snow from a Co-op Observer. Also observed 0.83 inches total water due to rain. So having a rain-snow mix up there in very northern upper Michigan. It may be some patchy freezing rain areas as we still have some 32 degrees measuring around this area. See, we have a light freezing rain report near the St. Maria area. Nothing going on in Michigan right now. Have a whole bunch of reports. Man, this is a lot of reports. Let me turn this off so I can get to a new radar site in Michigan. Have an incredibly large amount of reports of rain, mainly between a half an inch and a trace, so not too much rain in this area at this time. Though don't worry, you're going to eventually get a lot of rain and also some snow on the back end when the system starts wrapping around the colder air. And we're also getting some rain across the Ohio region. Let's go to a radar site here. In fact, a lot of rain across the Ohio region as I go to this radar site. Temperatures are in the upper 50s to low 60s. not nearly cold enough to support any wintry precipitation, though definitely heavy rain in this area. Also heavy rain in the Kentucky area, and this is right around where that flash flood watch was issued for much of the entire state of Kentucky. So if you live in the area I'm showing right now, very likely you're under a flash flood watch, so keep an eye out for any flooding. Let's see, we actually have rainfall totals so far from the storm. Already have about a half an inch on the ground. Some areas I can find half an inch, and there's still much more to go. So keep an eye out for flash flooding if you live in those areas. Let's go a little further south into Tennessee. Having some rain work its way on into eastern Tennessee. Not much there. Let's go to Georgia, the KFFC radar. Not much really going on there. How about Alabama? Not too much there. The line of storms is towards Louisiana and Arkansas area. You'll see that in just a second. There it is. Also working its way on into Mississippi. Pretty heavy round of rain, though none of it at this time is severe. Though we do have a flash flood report right here. Report was flood, street road flooding, a street road closed, vehicles stranded. So getting some flooding in western Tennessee as of the time of this report. So already having some flash flooding issues. Southern Mississippi and central Mississippi dealing with a little bit of rain, not nearly as much as northern Mississippi, and into Louisiana and Texas dealing with some thunderstorms. As you can see, all the lightning showing up on the radar, all the lightning icons that actually look like lightning, those are lightning strikes within the last 10 minutes alone. So definitely a lot of lightning going on here. And all the crosses and the smaller crosses are 20, 30, 40 minutes ago. No, a lot of lightning here. It was a lot yesterday. It started to diminish later on to the day, though it looks like we're starting to get a lot more lightning in the area, especially in Texas and Louisiana. Some rain on the back end, not really much going on here. In Texas, looks like just the southeastern part of Texas, maybe near Houston at this current time, is experiencing some thunderstorms, but that'll be working out of your area in just a little bit. Now we go to Arkansas. Not much here unless you live in the southern and eastern parts of the state. And now over to Oklahoma, which you've been dealing with some pretty cold temperatures, not quite cold enough to support snow. You're in the upper 30s, though you're going to need some low 30s to support that snow. Maybe in the very northern parts of the states, maybe some snow flurries on the back end, though wouldn't find that very likely. Now we're into Kansas, where trying to find any snow going on here. In the very northwestern portion of the state, it looks like we're getting some snow going on very northwestern Kansas. Also have a report of snow, so this is fallen according to that report. And also a lot of storm reports here in Colorado. Had a bunch of storm reports at once. It's quite interesting. I wonder what caused that. Though you can see all across western, or I should say north central Colorado, northwest of Denver, a lot of areas seeing about 3.5 to 5 inches of snow. Some a little higher amounts in the higher elevations. In Denver, it looks like you're going to be done with snow for the time being, though in the higher elevations could still get some snow showers in the state of Colorado. Wyoming, you're about done. Maybe some snow flurries in the southeastern corner of the state. Other than that, not much. Though Nebraska, you are definitely getting a pretty good amount of snow right now. We've been dealing with snow all day yesterday. Just started piling up, getting more numerous. Have a few snow reports now. This is in south central Colorado, and this was in Lincoln County, Nebraska. I should say Nebraska. There was a co-op observer, snow total so far, and snow is still falling as of the time of this report. Also, 2 other reports of 4.5 and 3.5 inches. Doesn't look like much snow is falling at the moment. Maybe some light flurries. A report by Twitter and a report, let me get to that, and a report by Broadcast Media, and that was in Hall County, Nebraska. Let's go over to Iowa, where we do have one rain report of 1 inch of rain so far, and that's in Warren County, Iowa, and this was via trained spotter. Let's go to the Sioux Falls radar site in South Dakota, where it looks like some snow flurries may begin into northwestern Iowa, though other than that, pretty quiet. Though in South Dakota, again, some moderate snow. According to these reports, some heavier bands coming through. And this was in Brookings County, South Dakota. Source was public, 6.3 inches. Also another report of 9 inches, and that was done by a weather station, and some other reports of 2 to 4 inches of snow. And we just got another report in very southeastern North Dakota. This is a little different than the rest. This is a blizzard report, so the second blizzard report we've gotten so far from Winter Storm Gage that I've seen. This was in Dickey, North Dakota County. This was by Emergency Management. The Emergency Management reports 14 inches of storm total snow thus far, with complete whiteout conditions in town and 0 to near 0 visibility. Heavy snow still falling. So definitely blizzard conditions in very southeastern North Dakota, and have multiple reports of 11 to 14 inches. Have another report, I do believe, of 14 inches. Let's see if we can get to that one. That one is overlapping the other, so I can't get to that one. A little north in Jamestown, North Dakota, have another report of 14 inches. Updated storm total thus far, best estimate with the strong winds in place, relayed by social media with picture, and it's still snowing in Stutzman, North Dakota. So right now in eastern North and South Dakota, getting some blizzard conditions, and already over a foot of snow has been reported, and we still have all day today and all day tomorrow to see the snow. So it looks like totals are going to be a little higher than expected. In my previous video I had 2 days ago, the GFS model was being a little gentle with the snowfall totals, keeping it a little over a foot of snow. Some isolated spots seeing 12 to 15 inches, but the Euro model was a little more aggressive in keeping it at almost 2 feet of snow. And right now we still have almost 2 days. We almost have 2 days to go, and we've already maxed out on the GFS snowfall totals in some areas. So it looks like the European model has been right so far with the storm, at least in North and South Dakota. I also have a couple other snow reports of 2 and 4 inches near the Bismarck area. North Dakota is still dealing with some light snow showers. Other than that, the heavier stuff is to the eastern side of the state, and it looks to be that eastern North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota seeing the heaviest snow at this time. And even though there may be whiteout conditions in North and South Dakota, there's a heavier band working its way in northwestern Minnesota. Going to keep this live stream up for about another 25 minutes. I'll be back with the final update report on Winter Storm Gage on this live stream in about 15 minutes. Watching live winter storm coverage of Winter Storm Gage on TRA Weather. I'll be back momentarily. Hey everyone, this is weather forecaster Liam back with the final update weather report on this live stream on Winter Storm Gage. Let's start off with a current look at the National Weather Service hazards map. And you can see we're across the entire United States, and all the areas shaded in pink, dark blue, and purple are all winter weather hazards, and also dark pink, I should say dark purple. Also, those are ice storm warnings. That's in the Northeast. Let's break it down real quick. Winter storm warnings are shaded in pink. That is in effect for much of Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Nebraska. And also some winter storm warnings in upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. Also have winter weather advisories across much of the region in Minnesota, the Dakotas, Nebraska, into Kansas and Iowa, and also Wisconsin and Upper Michigan. Area shaded also in dark blue is under a winter storm watch that has an effect for portions of Wisconsin and Upper Michigan, because that low pressure system could go over northern Michigan and bring some really gusty winds and heavy snow. So blizzard conditions in that area are definitely possible, and blizzard conditions are almost occurring very close to there. And also in the northeast, in that dark purple shaded area in upstate New York, western Massachusetts, and northwestern Connecticut, those are ice storm warnings, because the potential for very heavy accumulations of sleet and freezing rain are very likely in those regions, and amounts of a quarter of an inch, half an inch, maybe even more than that are possible. So that is not good news at all. That is, in most cases, almost all cases, more dangerous than even a foot of snow. A half an inch of ice can cause some serious problems. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. Even more so problems than we had earlier in southern Minnesota, because the temperatures got a little warmer later on to the day, so the ice wasn't a big problem. Though we're going to have a long period in the Northeast when we're going to be dealing with some freezing rain, so definitely have to watch that. Also, some winter weather advisories and winter storm watches across parts of the interior Northeast. Let's go to the NAM 12 cam model for today, tomorrow, and also into the next few upcoming days. Okay, so we're going to start off in today, this afternoon. Let me get the radar so I can move it. We're going to start off later on to this afternoon, right around 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That low pressure system is currently over southern Minnesota at 993 millibars. Pretty decent storm. Isobars are pretty close together, especially in the Dakotas and western Minnesota, and also Nebraska. Indication of some pretty good winds, so you're going to have the potential for some blizzard conditions in those areas, as we were seeing in the previous quick update I gave in northeastern South Dakota and southeastern North Dakota, where they were dealing with blizzard conditions currently, and you still have 1 to 2 days left of this, and already over a foot of snow has accumulated, so not good news there. Also, a lot of rain in the Ohio Valley region, starting to work its way on into the Northeast, not quite there yet, and a line of showers and thunderstorms across the Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi region. Some of those could be severe, though by the time it gets to eastern Alabama, eastern Tennessee, Georgia, severe threat really starts to come down. Not saying you could still hear rumbles of thunder, small hail, isolated tornado, though chances are just much lower than later on this afternoon. Go forward on into tonight. Right around 11 p.m. actually tonight, that line of storms works its way eastward, weakens a little, and that center of low pressure, there's actually two centers of low pressure right now. One's not showing up on this future radar, though it's over southern Minnesota, and also one over Indiana at around 994 millibars. And you see in the northeast now, in upstate New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, all those different colors showing up there, pink and purple and blue. That's all snow, sleet, and freezing rain, and that's going to be happening for an extended period of time as I go further on to the day Monday. Still seeing freezing rain, snow, and sleet in those same areas, and that's going to be accumulating a lot, especially in the upstate New York and western Massachusetts and Connecticut area. Center of low pressure is, according to this model, over central Michigan right now at 985 millibars. The storm's winter storm Gage is expected to get stronger than it currently is, and that's also going to bring up the winds a little. So got to keep an eye on that, because if it does turn to snow as I go later on to Monday into the afternoon, as this model predicts it, isobars very close together. Storm gets even stronger at 983 millibars, and according to this, all areas in the north central United States is snow. All of it transition over to snow, especially over upper Michigan, Wisconsin. So blizzard conditions are going to be very possible in those regions. So keep an eye on that if you live in those regions. That's why those winter storm watches have been issued, just for this scenario. And also in the Northeast, look at all that sleet and freezing rain still going on for you guys. And we're almost into Monday afternoon. So not good scenario for you guys there. Low pressure system is the exact same strength as it once was, bringing snow to much of the north central portion of the United States, maybe getting into some areas of like Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and it looks like snow's starting to wind down for places like eastern, north, and South Dakota and Nebraska, thankfully, though some flurries may linger around, and still dealing with a lot of sleet and freezing rain in the Northeast. That's just not good how long of a period this has been going on for. Later on into the day, Monday into Monday night, going into Tuesday, this is 1 a.m. Tuesday Eastern Time. Low pressure system is right over the Canada, upper Michigan border. A little weaker than it originally was, though still bringing snow to portions of the north central and Ohio Valley. Still having some snow in the Northeast, as well as some sleet and freezing rain and just plain old rain. Go forward into Tuesday afternoon at approximately 1 p.m. Eastern Time. There's two low pressure systems currently right now, both kind of associated with Winter Storm Gage, one over Michigan, one over the state of Maine, and one in Canada, bringing snow across the Ohio Valley and Northeast region. Places like Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Iowa, it looks like by Tuesday afternoon, most of the snow will have worked its way on out for you guys, though it's still a whole lot of snow to come. And when I'm seeing totals of already over a foot of snowfall in portions of the Dakotas, that is not good. Looks like you guys are going to be ending up having a very large amount of snow and blizzard conditions. Going to go forward a little more into Tuesday night. Last time we're going forward, 1 a.m. Wednesday morning. Snow is lingering in the Northeast a little, but other than that, just some light snow showers in the Northeast and the Ohio Valley region. So let's get right to the current radar in Grand Forks, North Dakota, having some reports of blizzard conditions, and we just got a brand new report of blizzard conditions right around the same area. You see where those two reports were made. Let me actually go to a different radar site. This is the radar site in northeastern South Dakota. Have another report of rain, snow. There seems to be one right there. There's a reduced visibility blowing snow report. You can see I go one frame back. You see that blizzard report here. We have another one just east of that, and that was event, of course, blizzard. This is in Sargent, North Dakota County. It was by AWOS. Winds gusting at 35 miles per hour or greater with a quarter mile or less visibility since 6:35 a.m. That is blizzard conditions. So parts of eastern, North, and South Dakota are experiencing blizzard conditions right now, and already have reports of over a foot of snow. So just a long ride to wait for you guys. We've got blizzard conditions in this area, still having some snow across central and North Dakota. Also got some snow in western South Dakota. Starting to pick up a little. It was a little lighter last time we saw this. Got some reports of really ranging between a lot. Got 6 inches of snow near Hot Springs. No storm total snowfall so far, and it's still snowing as of the time of this report. Another report of 1.5 inches. This is in Custer, South Dakota, and just south of Phillip, South Dakota, in Jackson County, South Dakota. Storm total so far, snow still snowing at 4.4 inches. And let's go a little further to the south into Nebraska, where we have a report of 13 inches. That is over a foot of snow being reported in Nebraska already. And you can expect much more of that to come, at least an additional, I would say, around 4, maybe even 5 inches in some higher totals. This was in Custer County, Nebraska. This was a public source, estimated 13 inches, report via social media. That was where that report was. And east of there, 2.5 inches, much different than that 13 inches of snow. This was in Bone County, Nebraska, and the source was also public. Go to the Denver radar site in Denver, Colorado. We just had a whole bunch of reports come in one frame ago, so we're going to take a look at a few of these. Most areas west of Denver got between 3 to 5 inches and some higher amounts in the higher elevations of Colorado. Though Denver, you ended up with about 4 inches of snow according to most of the reports I've seen in these areas. Let's go to the Nebraska radar site, or I should say the Kansas radar sites. Yes, snow is working its way all the way down into Kansas, though only the northwestern corner of Kansas, seeing some light snow showers at this time. Go a little further south into the east of Kansas, not really much going on. I would say Scott City, maybe a few flurries across Scott City and Hayes. Other than that, not much. Oklahoma, skies are pretty clear around this region, also in central Oklahoma, though we have a line of storms that is working its way on out of eastern Oklahoma, and that line of storms is actually in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. You can see by all these lightning strikes. Yes, these are thunderstorms, and all the lightning strikes that actually look like lightning strike icons, those were in the last 10 minutes. So a lot of lightning going on with the storm, and all the crosses happened 20, 30, and 40 minutes ago. This is making their way eastward, and thankfully since last night, that one tornado warning that just expired right before I went off the air on TRA weather, we have not had one tornado or severe thunderstorm since then, so that's very good news. They're going to make their way eastward, as I showed you with the future radar, into Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and even further on into Arkansas. And a few severe thunderstorms and tornadoes can't be ruled out, though shouldn't be as severe as yesterday. Though if you do live in those areas, just keep your eye out and keep a close touch with the radar. We had some flooding reports in western Tennessee not too long ago. We just got another one. Let's see which one's the old one. There is that one is the old one. Actually, this is the new one. River Creek overflowing, cropland yard basement flooding. So we got some flooding in a little north of the city of Jackson, Tennessee. So got some flooding there, and we actually have a flash flood watch in the state of Kentucky, for most of the state of Kentucky. As you can see, dealing with a lot of rain, and almost the entire state of Kentucky is under a flash flood watch. We've already experienced about half an inch of rain. Some areas could have experienced a little more than that. So if you live in Kentucky, be on guard to possibly experience some flash flooding later on today as the day goes on. And man, Ohio is definitely getting a lot of rain. Not severe, and I don't really expect at all you will see any severe storms today, though going to expect a lot of rain, maybe even some snow on the very back end of Winter Storm Gage. Go to the northeast, actually, see if we got anything going on here. This is the Pittsburgh radar site, and just dealing with some rain right now, some cold rain in central Pennsylvania. Actually working its way on into the northeast as of right now. Let's see if we have any wintry precip going on. I do not think so. It's just rain at this current time. How about upstate New York? Not quite yet. It's not quite there yet. Maybe in central New York State dealing with some freezing rain, but if so, it has just begun, and it should get a little more numerous later on today and into tomorrow afternoon. Let's go to Michigan, where we're dealing with some rain. No wintry precip at this time. Too warm in this area. Though upper Michigan, we've been dealing with some patchy freezing rain all throughout this morning, and a lot of freezing rain and snow yesterday, as the entire state of upper Michigan had pretty much every single type of precipitation and had a few reports of a trace of an inch of ice. Wisconsin's pretty quiet, at least the central and southern parts, though northern part dealing with some rain, too warm for any wintry precip, though Northern Minnesota is dealing with some snow, though as I go a few frames back, not nearly as heavy as they originally were dealing with. You see how heavy that was with wind reports of 55, 45, 40 miles per hour. Go forward, and the snow starting to work its way on into Canada. Though it looks like we have another snow band getting together near Hill City, Grand Rapids, Walker, Brainerd, right around those areas. Little snow line developing. So other than that, that completes the entire scope of Winter Storm Gage. That wraps up live winter storm coverage of Winter Storm Gage on TRA Weather. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video, share with family and friends or whoever you would think that would enjoy watching TRA Weather, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. For everyone in the path of Winter Storm Gage, whether it be blizzard conditions, snow, sleet, freezing rain, or thunderstorms, everyone in the path, stay safe. Thanks for watching live coverage of Winter Storm Gage on TRA Weather.